All right, guys. So I would be very careful right now, because of that high and that low, which are kind of like right on top of each other. It's kind of like you could even say this low and this high were right on top of us, and this high and this low were right on top of each other. Now we're over here where we actually have the high and the low significations on the timeline. We also that comes right after indications of both peak and a trough, and also this Princess of Swords usually indicates a resistance level from which you can trade both directions for using that as an entry point for a short position, and then closing below. And then when closing that short position, opening a long with the intent to close that long at that same resistance level, price level that we used as entry. We used it as exit this time for the long position. So there's some pretty wild stuff probably going on here. The completion of a rally, a trough, a peak, and then we also have an attempt to establish support around the close and a big move to the downside around the close. In the post market, there's a big move to the upside. So it's really wild, like kind of price swingy going on here. And you can see right at 2 o'clock we had a high that we then sold off pretty notably from. Okay. And my sense is that we're actually going to go lower into the close. That's based on this is an entry coin. This isn't an exit coin. Each side of the coin represents something different. Right now, this is an entry for a short position, right? And being that it's in this low position, it's down here. That's indicating we're going lower than that price level most likely. So it's going to be kind of wild, but overall, I think probably more to the downside. This coin and this side of the coin in this kind of positioning around the timeline is very similar to getting like an ace of wands in a low position. You're getting an indication that you're going to see that low at least one more time and or lower. Yeah, so this decline here at the end of the day, right around the close, is probably, if we're in the midst of the decline right around the close, as I expect, I would say that decline is going to offer opportunity to open up a long position. Remember what I said about this post market card. This is now like kind of like it's starting to evolve. I'm seeing more and more of this post market card being utilized to give me information about where we're going to start off the following day, which used to be this card. This is more like a secondary theme card for the next day at this point. It evolved a long time ago. But that's what I kind of get from this, is that this is giving us an idea we're going to see more movement to the upside tomorrow. Hey, buddy. You a good boy, Hermes. You a good boy, you know. Um, so if we're in the midst of a pretty notable decline here at the close. Matter of fact, you could probably play both directions, because the Princess of Swords indicates that we do like we most likely come back to that. It might not be today. It could be tomorrow that we come back to that price level right up here, right? But it does indicate we go back to that price level, roughly that price level. And then also this coin here indicates that we go lower than probably this price level here as well. So kind of like some pretty wild stuff going on. Again, I think overall to the downside here at the end of the day. But keep in mind that the VIX, if there's any rally in the VIX today, it would have been halted at some point. Hey, Robert. Are we expecting a lot of volatility in the cryptos next few days? Yeah, it kind of starts around here. Yeah, see, we were just talking about the Princess of Swords, and we've got the Princess of Swords right here. like I said, we're probably topping off because I had 65 as the high. You know, I mean, it's not gonna be exact. 67.9 is pretty close comparatively speaking to where we said we were predicting that 65 like when we were all the way down here all the way down here in 2023. So comparatively speaking, pretty darn close there. And so what we should see is like some up and down behavior over the next few days. So like this resistance level, you could utilize this resistance level tomorrow as an opportunity to open up a short and close that short probably on the 9th in the morning at a prominent trough on a 1 month scale, either the morning or midday. It'll be like it will be bound by a range here, and it may be that we come to this price level. You want to go over here, buddy? Yeah, go over here, buddy. Go over here, okay? Be a good boy. Be a good boy, Hermes. Yeah, you're a good boy. Yes, you are. Sorry, I got distracted there. So, like, we'll be bound at least by the lower end of a range. I sort of get the feeling that we might be bound by both ends of the range here because we have a prominent trough and some indications of a prominent peak here. So we might be bound by both ends of the range on the 9th, but at least by the lower end of the range. Oh, I remember what I was doing. So I was going to check that price level. One sec. I just want to mark this off too. Yeah, it looks like we come back down to that 59.5. There's a good shot we come back down to this 59.5 on the 9th at some point. And then on the 10th, we're very likely making another high. It's either the same high or it might even be slightly higher based on where we are right now. It might even be slightly higher there on the 10th, but it'll form and we have this move higher through key resistance. We stay above it briefly, break back down through it shortly thereafter, making like a capital A in the English language. It's similar to the love card, except that it's not necessarily a full retracement. But the decline off of that peak on the 10th will go into continue into the 11th, where we have the Ace of Cups off, indicating an opportunity to open up a long or close a short, and then we've got the Ace of Swords the following day, which again is it's very similar to the Princess of Swords, almost identical energies, where you use it as a resistance level that we decline off of, and then we return to, at least in the not too distant future. So it could be that we establish a higher price level tomorrow, but we're really topping off somewhere right around here, guys. And I would want to get into, I would be looking, if we're at the upper end of a range here on the 9th, I'd open up a partial short. If we're at the upper end of a range here on the 8th, I'd open up a partial short. If we're at the upper end of a range here on the 11th, or the 10th, the 11th, or the 12th, I would add to that partial short. By the 12th, though, I wouldn't be adding to it. I would be, expecting a notable decline. I would be looking to cash out of my short probably all the way out here. It's a really, really risky short, guys, to hold the short that long, but that's what I would probably do. So what you'd want to do if you're looking to do that with options, you want to make sure that you have an expiration that's out, like give it if you can manage it, because it gets expensive. If you can give yourself like 2 weeks of wiggle room, that should be sufficient to keep yourself safe. You never want to like get an expiration that's like just a day or two behind like where your exit point is, because sometimes you're wrong and you don't want to get stuck in a situation where you don't have any time to go to plan B, if that makes sense. Hey Shabham, I'm in New York time zone. I don't know what time it is around 4:15 or 5 o'clock p.m. here. I don't know what time it is there for you, but that would be a convenient time if that works for you. So to answer your question, Robert, yes. Where did your question go? I was answering your question about volatility and it disappeared. Yeah, and I think what I'd want to do, guys, is tomorrow on like a multi-day swing trade kind of thing for SPY. Tomorrow, I would want to open up a short position here on the 8th. I was talking about options, thinking that Bitcoin was the SPY. So forget what I was saying about options. But for March, what you want to do is you want to get an expiration out like 2 weeks into April. And so tomorrow, probably near the close, when people are like, tempted to chase a rally into a high, that would be a really good. You'd probably get a discount on put options in the midst of a move, like a situation where it looks like you're tempted. This rune indicates like being tempted to maybe chase a rally. So if there's temptation to chase a rally, there's probably a discount on put options there. I would open up a short position there. And there's quite a few places where you could close it. What the heck? Why won't it get larger? So weird. What the heck? Something weird going on with my computer, but it's not letting me enlarge. That's really annoying though. Wow, there's so much going on there at the end of the week, guys. And remember, Mercury retrograde's influence starts here on the 18th. What I found is that the big volatility, or the first initial like parts of the volatility, usually happen the week leading into Mercury retrograde's influence. So it's gonna get really wild there. Oh, it's 1:56 a.m. for you right now, Shubham? Jeez. So you want to do something in the morning? What time do you get up to start work in the morning? If you want to do something in the morning, your time, that probably would work for me. Hey Hamza, the tarot gremlin ate it. How does ETH? How is ETH for the weekend? FYI, guys, ETH is one of the crypto the crypto that we're dropping on an individual subscription basis. Come April, it will no longer be covered on like a day-to-day basis. So be prepared for that, guys. If you go to our website right now, you can see what crypto and tickers are covered every single month now. This is starting in April. These are the individual subscriptions that you can get, crypto and tickers. There will be other things, other monthlies that come out with paid versions. They just aren't going to be like every single month, so we don't list them here, if that makes sense. There's a theta and there's a link, and there's a couple of them. Okay, yeah, let's do 145. 146 is strange to me. Let's do 145. You want to do that tomorrow, Shubham? I'll send you a link like a few minutes before, Zoom link. So Ethereum. I'm really annoyed about that competition because I like registered for the competition while I was live, and then I put it off to the side and closed it to finish it later. And it like created this thing where I can't get into the competition, and I'm like waiting for them to get back to me while the competition just keeps going on. It's really aggravating. 2 p.m. All right, let's do 2 p.m. What the heck, Hermes? Why are you always in my way, goof? Here we go. There they are. All right, go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Looks like I was off about that. Um, the March Ethereum reading was created on January 8th, 2024 at 8:52 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh my god, what the hell is going on with my computer right now? Well, actually, I'm not off because we've got another day left, so I'm not necessarily off. And I do think we probably go back down to those price levels. Maybe like that, somewhere in that range. Um, and so your question about Ethereum, what does it do for the weekend? Yeah, so we're most likely going to see it within this range tomorrow. Um, and then it looks like more decline on the 8th. So based on this trajectory, there is a good chance that we have maybe not. I mean, we might have a high there, but there's a good chance that there's a high here on the 9th, 10th as well. But it gets really wild here. This is all craziness here with lows and highs and everything, just like everything else. Something's about to go down, guys, basically. Something big's about to go down. But hopefully people who run in the morning utilize the opportunity. I would have been a little bit late. This would have been a good opportunity. I would have been a little bit late. Where were we? Like 11. Well, you still would have exited. You would have entered here, and you would have exited at the fortune card Princess of Swords. For a closing trade. That would have been a good day trade, guys. And so the Ace of Swords yesterday, which was about, we marked it off around here. That might have been a little low. It's more like right here. I would say that's the Ace of Swords from yesterday, right? And you can see how we declined off of it, right? And then the very next day, if you had exited out here, the very next day you would have been able to close a long position utilizing that or higher as an exit point. You know, it would have been way above it actually. So it's a good price point indicator when you've seen Ace of Swords or Princess of Swords. And you can see how that's taking place here as well. This area here is kind of like Princess of Swords. Between like 515 and like, or excuse me, between like 515.30 and like 515.87-ish, like Princess of Swords. You could have opened up a short, closed that short, and then opened up a long, and we're coming into territory right now where you would have been able to close that long. I still think we turn around before the close. I think there's a turnaround, and we go into a low. Hello, Gayatri Reddy. Welcome. Will Bitcoin correct to 39K or 42K in the next 4 months due to U.S. elections or war likelihood? Well, as far as war, I'm picking up whiffs. There's probably some sort of escalation, like all the stuff that we're talking about right now for this week coming up here. This is probably militaristic. There's some sort of escalation probably in the Middle East going on here. And maybe there could be a combination of things that makes it really crazy. But I'm pretty sure somewhere in here in this week of the 11th through the 15th, we see some sort of military like escalation. Something significant. Not just like your average attack or bombing or, something significant. So will we correct back to 39K or 42K in the next 4 months? So March, April, May, June. So before the end of the second quarter, basically. We're looking at a pretty strong correction coming in just a few days for Bitcoin. Probably by the end of the month, if we're going to hit like 39K, I would say we probably do it here towards the end of the month. Looks like I might have missed the trough, another low there in May. I think I probably missed that low in the 1 year. There's nothing marking it off. Yikes, yikes. Well, if you watch the lives, then you're aware of it. And I have this marked off for 20K-ish, but I really think I feel like that's inaccurate. Whatever the low ends up being. And the reason why I feel like that's inaccurate is because my expectation to reach this price level was later in the year, and the fact that we've already reached it, it's kind of like we're well above where I thought we would be falling into the end of March. So let's see if we do 39K though. I think there's a good shot we do 39K. This is going to be an important price level right here that we'll probably meet in the correction. I got 39K in March. Hopefully people took profits as I've been instructing. Big deal if you got out here instead of here. You know what I mean? Like, big deal. You took a profit. So hopefully people are getting out around here as well and getting into shorts. This unicursal in the high correlation position and the high significator being the same card as the high significator on the 1 year does not bode well. It looks like big decline to me. Wondering if crowd is bull or bear tomorrow. Oh, what is it? I'm gonna do it the same way where I'm gonna throw down a card for every day this week, and if it ends up accurate, then we know it's a good reading. If it's kind of blurry, then maybe we ask some other way. You're welcome, Gayatri Reddy. Hey, Mama Investor. Super accurate. Tomorrow's a significantly bearish day. We're gonna revisit a support level tomorrow, probably the support level that we saw here. We're gonna do something like this. Somewhere in that range. Hermes, you're knocking all my cards over, goofball. You want to sit in my lap, huh? Okay. You're a good boy, Hermes. Can Nog rise $2 in March? Will Nog rise $2 in March? Nog. Not dog. Nog, not dog. So put it at roughly 38. I got a yes. It rises $2. So if 39K in happens in March, then how low do we go in April when the BTC yearly low happens? So if we do hit 39K in March, then my sense is that I should say, I should correct myself. This right here is really associated with April. So I should say by April we go into we should meet the 39K range. But I don't think we go lower than that. Well, let's see. I got lower than 39K at some point in 2024, so very, very likely that it would take place here in this is really the cusp of April, May. So it's very, very likely in April where we're seeing the low when we look at the 1 month. This is why she was asking about how low it would be in April. Right. So if you're familiar with ESO meta analysis 1 year readings, then you already know what I'm saying here is that these cards, these two, double cards, like each cluster represents a month, and these two cards in the middle of each cluster, going left to right, represent 2 weeks of time. And so, not each card's energy will necessarily line up perfectly with 2 weeks of time. So, you have to give the sequence of events, you have to give the timing, I should say, plus or minus two weeks of wiggle room in some cases. And it's the same thing as if you're looking at a 1 day or a 1 month. You want to follow the sequence of events over the predicted timing. The timing is usually right on point. Everybody sees that, I'm sure. But when it's not that we're dead wrong or something. It's that the sequence of events is like, it's moved a little bit off for just like a momentarily, if you will. And that's because each card's energy, it just wouldn't be realistic to expect it to always be where each card's energy lines up perfectly with 2 weeks of time. So this low is actually taking place here in April. And you can see the death card here and the 21st, 22nd where we want to buy in. This is where you want to buy in. People keep asking me about price levels, and like, frankly, I don't care about price levels, guys. I don't know why you keep asking me. Pay attention to timing. Pay attention to relative moves between each other. That's how you use ESO meta analysis. Price levels can be helpful, but they can also get you into trouble. Because what do I mean by get you into trouble? Let's say you guys are waiting for 39K and I happen to be wrong about that price level, and this low comes and goes while you're waiting for 39K. Are you going to be happy that you waited for 39K? It never came. But that timing where we determined that there would be a low came and went, and that was accurate, right? So why would you worry so much about the price level? You should be worrying about timing. I'm telling you from experience, this is how you trade this information. You do not trade this information like you trade normal technical analysis. Normal technical analysis is like, it's like clowns looking at the past and expecting that to be the future, but then at the same time saying the past does not guarantee future outcomes. Like, what a crock of, like, it's designed to get you, to direct you to do something so that they know what you're going to do. That's all that it is, right? This is very different. This is based on what we expect of the future, based on what the future shows us, not on what the past shows us. Using the past to dictate the future is kind of like it's an archaic, in my opinion, it's an archaic way of thinking. It's something that society needs to kind of like understand. The present moment dictates the future. The past has no bearing on the future, guys. It's the present that dictates the future. I went on a little rant there, sorry. USO. And I'm going to cap off the questions here, guys, because it's almost 4 o'clock. All right, so the question was, is USO's high for March next week? I believe so. There's going to be a pretty big move to the upside here. It'll really stand out on a 1 year chart and take us into a high. There was a high here on the cusp of February, March, right? And you can see there was a high here on the cusp of February, March. But then in like the second, it might be the end of the second, hard to say, probably the mid to end of second week. This is also what leads me. This is specifically here. This USO reading is what leads me to believe that what's taking place next week, that's creating all that volatility and decline, has to do with the Middle East, because USO is oil is literally the only thing that's like going whoosh next week. Everything else is going like this, So it's probably Middle Eastern war of some kind, and there should be. Look at this card. All right, look at this peak relative to where this peak is, right? So the high here in the second or maybe the beginning of the third week, hard to say, somewhere around there, that high is going to be significantly higher than this price level here of $75, just to be clear. But you want to be careful, because then we come back down to this price level towards the end of the month. How's March 11th looking on SPY? So this is where we start to get the unicursal hexagram energies. It's pretty bearish there. From the standpoint of the 1 month, we have erratic behavior and we have a high here. I think that this high could easily be like related to this peak here. But either way, we're going to see highs and lows, and it's going to get really, really wild here. 11th looks pretty erratic from that standpoint, and from the one day, it looks like. Yeah. Yeah, see the death card for tomorrow, or for the 11th, I should say. Ace of Cups. The low significator that's nullified here on the 8th appears first thing in the morning here with the Ace of Cups and the large Labradorite, which is like always a really optimal trade. So the 11th looks bearish, but then we go like overnight, and then we go bullish, and then back into bearish formation. I mean, it's weird because we've got low significators at the end of the day, but we also have these big bullish moves too. So it's going to get pretty wild there. Guidance on CVX tomorrow and next week. More overall bullish or bearish? Oops. So CVX looks like it's going vertical next week. Really, really bullish move next week after establishing support. And what I pulled, just as like a control to make sure I would be accurate there, I pulled the card for the behavior of this week, which is the luxury card. From a crest, we sell off down to and through support, do a U-shape reversal, come back and reuse it as support. It's literally what happened. So I would say the gain card for next week for CVX is very, very bullish. Right? We come back and reuse it as support. And then the gain card literally starts with sideways rotation, establishing support, followed by a big move higher. So it's like, it's perfect. That's very, very likely what'll take place next week. Hermes, what are you doing? Pick a spot, goofball. Thank you for saving my ass with CRW forecast. Sure thing. You're welcome. You're welcome. Exactly, Gayatri Reddy. That's exactly what I'm saying. So when you're utilizing ESO meta-analysis, I mean, it can be helpful to like have, expectations of price level. But like really when it comes down to it, the closer you can get to that time frame, obviously the more clear that price level will become, and you at some point will be able to accurately predict the price level very, very well based on what you've seen transpire. But to use it as an entry or an exit, and like that's it, like you would do with technical analysis, you have either or statements, you get in or out at a certain price level, right? But this isn't technical analysis, this is SO meta analysis. So you want to make sure that you don't trade it exactly like technical analysis. Technical analysis can be very helpful, but it can also trap you, like Gayatri was saying. That's what happened with him. He waited for 12K and the train left. So just, when you ask for price level, keep that in mind. It's not as reliable as the sequence of events, which is what SO Meta was designed for. We are getting better at the price level, and 75%, 80% is really not that bad compared to an analyst anywhere, But what's important about it is not the accuracy percentage so much. It's whether or not you're going to utilize that as your entry or exit signal. Rarely are you going to use a price level as an entry or an exit when utilizing SO meta analysis. There's situations where that'll happen, like, right, we establish, where are we? Where's that Bitcoin rating? Right, like we establish a resistance level tomorrow, right? And because of the specific card, and we already know where that price level is when it's established tomorrow, we'll then be able to use that price level as an exit later in the week to exit a long position. That's a scenario where you can utilize price level information with SO meta analysis. So you see, it's very different, guys. Don't get caught in that trap. Does Kron have a higher price level tomorrow than today? Let's see. I got a yes. We see a higher price level tomorrow in comparison to today. Can I guide an MDB earnings? It looks like they miss on both accounts, and as a result, chart behavior reaction is a significant move to the downside, like a failure card. That's MDB for based on their earnings. Maybe USO high has something to do with the Mideast volatility next week. Exactly, that's what I was saying. It was like, oh, you were typing that as I was saying it. Funny. All in on UCO and CVX on Monday, Tuesday. I prefer ICO and USO, generally more bullish. So just be careful, because when we look at the S&P, there's highs and lows and like crazy stuff going on. We're probably overall going to the downside here, but there's going to be wild swings. So I wouldn't be shocked if USO ended up being similar, Let me see. Yeah, because that big move to the upside that we're talking about happening next week, it starts out of a decline. Just to be clear, that big move higher ends. It signals the end of a decline, and then we should do like some sideways rotation. There's a prominent peak and a prominent trough within close time proximity to the later part of March as well. So be careful. Lots of love, Karma. Oh, well, appreciate it. It was luck. It's the thought that counts either way. So much appreciation. And I appreciate that that one that just came through. Definitely noticed that, my friend. Thank you very much. All right, guys. So with that said, I'm gonna roll. Thank you. Oh, I wanted to just point something out here, guys, so that the people on live know about this. We decided to offer the ultimate subscription, which we did it once before. We decided to offer it. We're like, this is a one-time first person first come thing as well. Where did it go? Oh, yeah, here. So there's actually something. This is. Let me see what he did here. We just made changes here. Yeah. So this is different. What I'm talking about, it will give you access to all subscriptions, future and present. And we're selling that for it's lifetime. It's $10,000. Only one person will be able to get that. The next time we offer it, it'll be 25,000. So I'll get that on the site. It's supposed to be on the site already, but I guess we had some confusion. It happens. And then look out tomorrow. We're gonna get in. We're gonna announce that coupon code where you can get 2 1-year readings. Currently, they're $4.99 each. You can get 2 1. Wait, excuse me. Yes, they're $4.99 each, and you could get 2 of them for $600 with this coupon code that we're gonna announce tomorrow. So be sure to be on the live tomorrow, guys. Much appreciation to all my angel investors. Blessings to all my angel investors. Blessings to everybody. You know where to go. You know what to do. I'll see you guys.